So I think I had been lying there for an hour or so, just focusing on the heartbeats. And it's almost like you can imagine you come into this trance with the heartbeats. All you hear all of a sudden is the heart, dun, 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 dun. And somehow I all of a sudden felt myself become bigger and bigger. And it wasn't an out-of-body experience where I felt like, okay, Jannecke is leaving her body and now she's here and this is the body. It was more like, it felt like I just got bigger. Whole of me, everything of me just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was the sense of I blew up, like I became the world, I became everything. So what came to me when I was felt this expansive and this huge was that this is the truth of who you are. And this is the truth of everybody else. And when you anchor yourself in the truth, everything starts to flow, right? Because the truth is that you are loved. The truth is that you are loved.
Jannecke, my friend, very bright, shining light that you are. Welcome to my show. It's such an honor to connect with you in this way, in this platform. Sometimes the roles are reversed, and I'm really excited to host this conversation and see what we can create together. So for anyone out there who may not be familiar with you or your story, could you let us get to know you just a little bit?
Of course, Heather. And it's so nice being here with you. I have interviewed you twice before, I think it is. And you're one of my masterclass teachers in my own Wisdom from North membership. And we've collaborated before. And it has been such a joy collaborating with you. And it's also nice to be invited to other shows because I do so many interviews myself. And it feels really nice to be invited sometimes. And it's not a role that I'm so used to. So very nice to be here today. I am Norwegian and I'm a former musical theater artist in Norway. I had a childhood full of art history. I was a musical theater artist from when I was 7 years old, and I played Annie. I was the first one playing that role in Norway. And at that time, we didn't have much media or social media, and just one TV channel. So I got a lot of attention at that time. And I think that sort of mapped out a little bit of my journey and why my difficulties started also, because I was identifying as this musical theater child and this child who was on stage all the time and got all this attention. And after that, it was role after role after role on the stage, big stages in Oslo, especially in musical theater, because that was my passion. And I really thought that that was what I was going to do with my life, become this big Western star or Broadway star. And I pursued that for a long time. It was like my whole life was directed towards that one goal. And that was for me happiness and success. And I think as a child, I sort of misunderstood love and attention. I thought that that was the same. The more attention I got, the more loved I felt. But then I started to cultivate this distance towards myself. And that's where sort of the problem started. And I think a lot of people can identify with the feeling when they identify solely on what they're doing and not who they are from a very young age. And you have one goal is to become great in tennis or golf or whatever it is. And then you get hurt somehow, like you get an injury. And then you're like, who am I? Who am I? What am I going to do now? And that was exactly what happened with me. When I was 20, I lost my voice. And it was like on the top of my career in Norway. And everything was so perfect on the outside. And I got nodules on my voice. And after that, I couldn't sing at the level I used to sing. And that just changed the entire direction of my life. And I became very depressed. And I didn't know what I was going to do because I had just one reality. And that was a musical theater. That was my whole life. And I didn't know much else. And I didn't know if I was good at anything else. And that started this deep, long search within, started very much in darkness, feeling lost, alone. I couldn't speak with people. I had to be alone. My boyfriend left me. I developed anxiety, just felt that life was meaningless. And in that, I think, looking back, that I had a spiritual awakening where I needed to go so deep inside to discover that, my oh my, there was more to me than this singing and acting and this role I was sort of portraying, and that there was other sides of myself, and I needed to love myself. And I also started to ask deep questions like, what is this life really about? What does bring happiness? And am I more than what I thought I was? And is there life after death? Like, why are we really here? Is it all about the outside? Because in Norway, even though we have sort of this jantelaw, this hidden law, truth in a way that's not true, that is saying that we should dim our light down. We should not believe in ourselves too much. We should just be similar. It's sort of this law we have, and we laugh a lot about it, but it's actually something that is ingrained in our culture. It's the opposite of the American way. It's completely the opposite. And it is affecting us a lot. So I started asking all these questions. Am I just supposed to be fit in a box, or am I my own boss? Can I create the life I want? Like, is there a beautiful future for me? It's just that I'm believing it's not. And is it my thoughts that are stopping me, and my beliefs? So I started asking all these questions, and it took me many, many years. But fast forward to 2012, I was sitting on a bench, and I said to my father that I really want to just travel around and interview spiritual teachers about the big questions of life. Like, that's what I'm really passionate about, if I shall be honest with you, Dad. And he was like, what? Okay. Okay. But to me, that was like a huge thing, because in that moment, I realized that, my goodness, this is something I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about understanding what I'm doing here. And maybe I can make something out of that. So I started doing interviews on YouTube, and this name, Wisdom from North, fell into my mind the same day. And things went so fast after that. Like, in a week, I landed 2 jobs, like show gigs, out of the blue. And I hadn't had gigs for a long time. So I bought a camera. I got money to buy a website, and big names, like Dr. Eben Alexander and Akiane Kramarik and Byron Katie said yes to be on my show. And I was like, okay. So I just started interviewing people about the big questions of life. And my, like, it's been so many years, but I'm still doing it. I'm still doing the same. The show has grown a lot, especially the last 2 years, actually. But not only that, but now I'm living from doing this. And I didn't for a long time. I was doing all these kinds of jobs next to it. I was starting to become a primary teacher. But today we have a company. We have online courses. We have a membership. We're doing all sorts of things. And I'm doing what I love. And this really feels so meaningful to be living from something I'm really passionate about. And it just feels like it's getting better and better, because now more and more people are interested in spirituality. I don't feel weird anymore like I felt 12 years ago. Now it feels sort of like, oh, you're on to something here. And what you're doing is quite interesting. I'm hearing from like some Norwegian people. And that feels nice, that we have come to a point where it's not so woo-woo to speak about this anymore.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. There's so many reflections that I want to dive into in what you were saying. I think it's such a beautiful journey, for one, because of the length of time and the devotion and the passion that was the undercurrent for all of that. So And I'm sure you've heard some of this. What I feel a lot of us are struggling with right now is the awakening feels like it should be fast and we should get it done and we should already be there with it. But what I love about your story is there was such a journey. There were so many years where you felt the passion. What was your motivation to keep showing up and really living from that place of passion, even though it may not have been reflected back to you? Because what I love also about that is you took action on something that felt like it lit your soul up. There was such a spark to it. Did you have the awareness? There's so many questions. I'm sorry. Did you have the awareness at the beginning that maybe if I'm asking these questions that I want to know of these different people I'm interviewing, somebody else maybe also wants to know the answer, and that there would be this healing that would occur for you, but also for someone else listening?
Oh yeah, definitely. I did feel that there must be people like me feeling lost and wondering why they're here and not being satisfied on what we are presented with in our society, in school, in media. And I was really annoyed of every time on television, especially Norwegian television, there would be like a hint to diving into some deep questions, and the host would or hostess would just, cut it very fast and just move on to more practical things. I wouldn't understand, why can't we go into the depth of being a human and why we're here and where we're going and what's this life all about? I mean, there must be other people wondering about this too. And for me, it was also pain. It came from passion, but also pain of being here, because I thought that it didn't make sense just being here. What am I supposed to do here? Like, there's no recipe. And if I'm not going to sing, which was my passion, what else am I going to do? Am I just going to take a random job that does not give me joy? And I guess that, this became my joy, this deep inquiry about why we're here. And it was also lifting me up. Like I think the joy came when I started speaking with teachers, and they told me about the afterlife, about our multidimensionality, about that we plan our lives. So it started, I guess, with some pain, and then it moved into joy, because then I was like, oh my gosh, there is so much more. There is more. Like, what I've been told in school is not true. There is so much more. Like, this life is magical and we're not being taught it. Oh my God, why are we not being taught this? So the joy came in that this universe is so much more mysterious, and that there is a deeper meaning with me and everybody else. So hang in there, And yet, definitely, I feel and I hope that my conversations are healing for so many people. Just think about people who have lost people, who are mourning, lost their loved ones, children or husband or father or mother or wife, or that can have and believe and maybe know that there's an afterlife, that people are moving on, that we will never die, or understanding that, hey, I've actually planned my life. So I, on a deeper level, have chosen this. And maybe I'm here just because I'm meant to experience this pain. And I've wondered, in my depression, like this feels like I cannot endure it. But when I started thinking that, what if I've chosen it to grow, like from love, my soul really do this for me to expand and grow. It's coming from love, and I'm here exactly for this. To me, that is healing. To me, then I get that meta perspective where I'm able to look at myself from above and look at myself with love and empathy, like a mother, like mothering myself, and be like, okay, honey, I know you're in pain, but you're growing from this pain. There's a deeper reason. It's not like random. It's not in vain. You are going through this for a deeper reason, and you are so heroic for doing that. then there's a sense, there's a purpose in the pain. And for me, it has taken some of that darkness and pain away. And all of a sudden it shifted to, oh my goodness, I'm here for a big reason, like you are, like we all are. And if you or I or anybody watching were taking out of the equation, the entire world would look different, because that affects so many people around us. So just to understand how important we are, how many people we are affecting, and we don't need to be on a podcast show to affect people. We're just affecting people, our neighbors, and with our energy. And so that message of making people understand how important their life is, that is one of my passions. And if I could help somebody who felt the same as I did and make them feel better, that's like it feels like I'm healing myself doing that, because ultimately we're one, and I could feel connected to people who feel the same, because we felt the same. So definitely, yes, it is healing. And it just feels so right to do this. It feels like home to me.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And we can all feel the passion behind what you're saying. That was the most beautiful motivational speech ever. I think I'm going to save it and record it and play it back when I'm having a tough day, because it's just your absolute love for what you do and the love of the connection that we all have, that we're all here for at this time, is so beautiful and amplified through all that you do. I wonder if we were to look back at young Jannecke, when you mentioned earlier that there was that confusion or misunderstanding of attention being love. It feels to me through your story, through your journey, and also when you said you're mothering yourself in that way, that come on, we've got this, we can do this, let's step into this. Have you, and in your story, did you step out of that awareness to say, maybe as the child star that you were, you received that attention from others? Was there a point in your story that you can share with us that you said that level of attention needs to come from me instead, and not the external? Because when it is the external world, it's beautiful and it can be affirming, but maybe it's not as authentic. And how can someone step into their own self-love and that ability to almost flip that relationship from what we're getting externally to what we generate within ourselves?
Yeah, that was one of my insights when I was sitting at another bench, and I sat a lot on a bench by the beach, actually, in my depression. And one of those insights was that, oh my goodness, I'm sitting here in nature all alone, and I'm just being, and I feel valuable just being, and nobody's watching me. And nature is me and nature, basically. And nature is not applauding me, but it's not judging me either. And it is sort of, the external can do like that or boo. And there's still sort of a judgment, because either they're saying, oh, you did good or you did bad. And that is a judgment either way, in a way. And just being in nature, I just felt that there was nobody saying anything about me. And I felt so alive. And that made me realize that, oh my goodness, this is me. I am alive, and it doesn't matter what's going on around me. I'm just as valuable. Like, I could be here in nature and there could come a person and say, you are blue. Okay. And another person says, you're green. Okay. But that doesn't change who I am. That person thinks I'm green. That person thinks I'm blue. It does not affect me. I'm just still me. So when I started to anchor myself in that truth, that I'm valuable just by being here, otherwise I would not be here. Like, I'm here, and think about the effort that makes in, not in the sense of lovemaking, but from the creation side, like how, okay, I can say it another way, how miraculous we are When we look in our hands, how many lines we have that is unique to us. And I'm like, this has been made for me. Nobody's similar in any way. Creation has made me, and I work perfectly, and all my limbs and legs and arms and everything is there for me. Someone, something, some intelligence has put so much effort into making me, and here I am saying it's not good enough. Like, and when I look at you and other people, we are miraculous beings who are here for a deeper reason. So I started just looking at my hands and be like, oh my goodness. I mean, there are lines here. There's a destiny even. Someone has made a destiny for me. And it might be myself, but it just proved that I am valuable. No question about it. And if I anchor myself in that, I'm anchoring myself in the deeper truth. And when you anchor yourself in the truth, everything starts to flow, right? Because when we're saying I'm not good enough, I'm not valuable, then we're actually denying ourselves things, and we are lying to ourselves, and we're going upstream. So we're not in flow, and we're just make things harder for ourselves, because the truth is that you are loved. The truth is that you are loved. And I've also had some mystical experiences after that prove that, but the insight came to me when I was really like sitting on that bench and asking those deep questions, and put society away, and I was on a sick leave and I didn't have anything to do, and I just started questioning everything. It's the most it's what makes sense to me. And I think, unfortunately, society has so much to gain from making us believe we're not worthy and everything we should fear. But that is also based on economy and power and all these things. So I think that the awakening is part of that we're awakening into how powerful I am, how beautiful I am, and how beautiful we all are. And that it all starts with that self-love, honoring really the miraculous being we are.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. So much yes to that. The image I had while you were saying that was almost like, for so long in all of our lives, and many of us have a similar aspect where we trusted what someone else told us, or how they saw us, or what box we were put in by somebody. And whether it's because we didn't feel the courage to step out of that box. And I love the phrase you said, from box to boss, a while ago. I thought that's brilliant. But everybody has that feeling of like, wait a minute, that's not who I am. That's who you perceive me to be. So the image I had for that was like taking a mirror, like someone else has been holding the mirror up to you, and you just grab it and say, no, 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 no. You're holding it at the wrong angle. You're not getting the light correctly. Like, let me have my own mirror and see my truest reflection in all that I am. And I think that's so important for anybody who finds themselves on the path or the journey. We have so many different ways that we categorize it: ascension, development, evolution, all of it. Even what I find beautiful is, even though it is this collective awakening, and I would even say remembering, it's not discovery. It's almost I don't know, a deep remembering, excavating, like digging that out from yourself. But so many of us have that pivot point where it has to start with one. It has to start with us before we also plug into that overall light grid that is everybody. And it's like, once you get that awareness of yourself, then you can connect into that beautiful understanding that you shared with us of, we are all so miraculous and we are all so unique. And in a world today where we have so many different comparisons, you should be this way, you should look that way based on what someone has on their social media or their Instagram. Coming out of that, I think that's a thread that still, as humanity, we are pulling on. We're struggling with that a little bit. How can I just be absolutely weird and wonderful and unique And it's okay that I am. It's okay that I'm not like that person. It's okay that I stand out a little bit. I'm just curious, any different techniques that you feel came from that time period in your life as a performer that you use now to move through and shift fear for yourself?
That was a deep one. If there's anything I learned from my acting career that has helped me shift fear in my everyday life or career. Well, I mean, I think since I've been so much on stage, I'm used to being on camera, and I'm used to sort of that role in a way, to have that faith that once you're there on stage, doing interviews or doing webinars, I can just surrender and trust. That has helped me a lot. And I think having that experience really helped me get started with my YouTube channel. And be comfortable in doing that, even though I had no idea what I was doing, because I had never been an interviewer or journalist at all. I wasn't a journalist, but I dared to do it because I had been in that limelight. And I think that trust is something I've gotten with that experience, that you go out there and of course anything can happen, but you do trust in something greater or bigger. So it is sort of a persona in a way, or like a zone you go into in one way, and in another way it's sort of like a channeling state. I think you just trust that something is helping you in that situation. And of course, I haven't thought about that so much, but that is something you could use in social settings if you are insecure, sort of being out on stage in life and just, okay, I'll go into the social crowd, go into a wedding, I don't know anybody, and just trust that things will come to me. So yeah, I think that has been a great help. And you also asked whether there are situations, I think you asked that, where we can lose that in a way, that knowingness of our value, for instance. And I can move a bit in and out of it, because when you're in social settings where it's not so accepted to be you, and most of us, I think, have experienced that we are in certain settings where we feel like it's not accepted to be us. We're expected to be something else. And that could be in work, and it could also be in groups of friends, that in this group we do it like that. And I can notice that some friends group are not so open to things outside the box in a way, that the playground is not as big. And in other groups, it's like you could be a bit crazy and stuff like that. And that could be challenging in one way, because I do want to shine my light and be myself. And at the same time, I sort of don't want to disturb them or make them feel uncomfortable. I think some feel it threatening, or even they get resistance if things are too out of the box. And I can really meet that also with love and understanding that not everybody is so freed. You know, not everybody dares to show who they are. And that's just because they are not there yet. And they're conformed, and they have their beliefs. And I think that is to be respected too. But I think it's important then to also have friends who can hold space for the whole of you, and really look after people who can give you room to be everything you are, because not the whole world will do that, but find at least some people who you could really relax with and be all that you are. So you are allowed to express all that. Because let's face it, this world is a lot of different roles we have to go into sometimes in work. And if you're a lawyer, you can't do whatever, you know, there are certain expectations. But find those friends who can really give you space to be all that you are. So you also get to know yourself, and partner as well. A partner who can really give space to who you are, all that you are. I think that is so important. And I feel I have that. And that has been such a relief when I found someone who could really give space to who I was. And I haven't experienced that before on that level, that I could be down, I could be up, I could be anything. And he gives me the space to be me.
That is so beautiful. And I'm so excited that you found that and for the journey that you are starting with that beautiful partnership, or not starting, but starting in a new way with your upcoming marriage. I think what I want to offer back to you, I feel on behalf of so much of your community and mine and anyone who listens to this conversation is I hope you have the understanding that you are what you were saying about finding the friend group, finding the relationships, finding the people who hold space for you to be whoever you are and whatever you need to be. You are that for so many of us in this community who are watching the content, maybe secretly in their living room, like, I have to turn the volume down because we're talking about aliens and I don't want somebody in the other room to hear me, or that girl's channeling and I don't know what that looks like. You give that beautiful space for so many to come and share their stories, but also so many to hear and witness and be part of that community that maybe they don't find in their average day-to-day lives. Because I know I hear that struggle a lot, that people are not able to be out there or share as much as they would like to because it does make someone uncomfortable and then it leads to more tension in a relationship. And so I love the way that you express that so elegantly, that it's not about not being who you are, but it's having that understanding of where you can step into that really fully, where you're allowing someone else to be who they are. And it's that kind of sacred dance of different energies as we're all working through this progression and this up leveling and this evolution that we have.
Yeah, it's not like I need to speak about spirituality all the time with those friends who are atheists. I don't want to push that on them, but we could still have a loving relationship because they come from the heart, they're good people, and then I can have that outlet in another place, especially in my work. And I do find so much comfort that we could meet each other on YouTube. It's sort of, you meet like-minded people, or in my membership or online courses, that there are more people who are doing this. And I think that also inspires others to think, okay, maybe I can create something. Maybe I can create my own blog or come out with my things, because there's so many people doing it now. And also it gives, not proof, but it validates that maybe there is more, because there's so many people speaking about their mystical and spiritual experiences and near-death experiences and everything they have experienced, and they seem credible, and some of them have proof, and some are scientists speaking about this. So I think we're in a fantastic time where things are really shifting, and it's more normal to come out with this. And just think about those people who've had mystical experiences, and they can even be frightful sometimes, so they could be scary and we don't know what it is and nobody's talking about it and just saying you're crazy. I mean, that's so lonely. And then you'd start doubting yourself, like, what am I experiencing? And so to me, it has been so beautiful to have people come out and speak about this. So I'm like, oh, lucid dreaming, that's what I was experiencing, or out of body experiences, or more people have had this vibrational phase. I experienced it too. Like, when you hear people who say exactly what you experienced, you're like, oh gosh, this is a thing. It's not just
not just in my head. Like, it's an actual thing other people are having. I love that. And one of my missions all along was normalizing intuition, because for me, it should be no different than saying, I have brown hair, I have blonde hair, I have green eyes, I have intuition, I speak to dead people. Like, why does that one have to be so weird when the others are completely accepted? So thank you for all the work that you do to help us all normalize it and have these conversations where we're exploring with no threat of judgment or anything going off the rails. So you casually mentioned having a mystical experience a while ago. Would you be comfortable taking us through that a little bit and letting us know what it was that you expanded into and witnessed with that beautiful experience?
Yeah, I haven't had as many as you had, and they're not like ongoing. But for me, it seems like I I I receive spiritual connection deeper when I'm really going into it. And these days, I'm working so much, I'm very much more in my left brain. Even though yes, I meditate, but I don't have that space to go so much into it as I did, I think it was 15 years ago. And that time I lost my voice again. So it was like I was on a sick leave and I was able to meditate like so much every day, 3 times a day, several hours. And I had a goal. Like I really wanted to have proof that there was more. Like I was desperate actually to know that there is more to life, and not just me reading it in a book. At that time, there wasn't that many videos on YouTube. I needed, the proof for myself, like the experience myself. So I went on this course online, astral travel and lucid dreaming. And at that time, I had several mystical experiences. One of them was lucid dreaming, which is to awaken in a dream, and all of a sudden you can navigate the dream world, like you're fully alive in the dream, exploring another dimension, being yourself, just in a different body. Another one was astral projecting out of my body, so I'm actually moving out of my body consciously. That took me 5 weeks to be able to do, and I was like focusing my concentration every day. I was working really hard to make it happen, and it did happen. But it took a lot out of me, because today I'm not able to do that at all. I'm not, the focus is not strong enough, but I focused my mind so much that I was able to do it. And I think some people are more open to that, like it happens naturally. They could be out of their bodies. To me, it seems like that I don't have such a natural opening, so I need to sort of work really hard on it. But the experience I want to share was that in that period where I was meditating so much, I had an exercise where I was meditating on my heart. And the exercise was just to lie in my bed and focus on my heartbeat. Even though if I didn't hear the heartbeats, I was supposed to imagine that I heard the heartbeats. And I'm saying it now because maybe you guys want to try it. And it's the beautiful exercise because you also get much more symbolic dreams at night, and profound dreams when you do this exercise. So I think I had been lying there for an hour or so, just focusing on the heartbeats. And it's almost like you can imagine you come into this trance with the heartbeats. All you hear all of a sudden is the heart. Dun, 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 dun. And somehow I all of a sudden felt myself become bigger and bigger. And it wasn't an out-of-body experience where I felt like, okay, Jannecke is leaving her body and now she's here and this is the body. It was more like it felt like I just got bigger. Whole of me, everything of me just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was the sense of I blew up, like I became the world. I became everything. And I was out in the universe as, the spirit in the genie in Aladdin, like, woo, all of a sudden it gets huge. It was that kind of feeling. And I was out in the universe being this huge genie of Jannecke. It's so weird to explain it because we don't have the words, but yeah, it was this sensation. So what came to me when I was sort of felt this expansive and this huge was that this is the truth of who you are. This is how big or huge you are. It came in Norwegian. And this is the truth of everybody else. So the insight was that, oh my, I am so big. I am so huge. And I thought I was so little and insignificant. And this is the truth of who I am and everybody else. And sort of in the next moment or phase, even though I don't know what happened, in what sequence, was that I loved myself so much. Like my love for myself was also huge, and I was also loved by something else. So it was sort of this duality that I loved myself and I was also loved. So that was the two huge insights or messages in a way that came to me. And it wasn't like a voice, it was more like an insight. And I think, I don't know how long it lasted. I cannot remember. I just remember the whole experience. And I think pretty fast, I was sort of out of it and wondered what happened. Like, what was that? And the feeling I had was this hallelujah, this exhilaration, this oh my God feeling. Like the whole day I felt that I was in bliss, and I looked at people and I wanted to say to them, oh my God, you're so huge and you are so loved. And I remember I was on stage at the time doing a musical. I think I was doing Grease actually. And I have this moment where I was standing with this girl who was like smoking in the break. And I was looking at her and I was like, oh my gosh, you have no idea what I experienced today. And you are so beautiful. And I know you're standing there smoking and you think you're not good enough and all that. And I just felt sort of what she was feeling with that, have to have that cigarette in between the break. And I so wanted to tell her how much she was loved by the universe. And I knew I couldn't. And I never forgot that, because I think that was a direct answer to a question I've had, because since I've struggled so much with self-love, I felt that was the confirmation I needed to receive from the universe. And I've never forgotten that. And I struggle with self-love still at times. But when I remind myself of that, I remind myself to, remember to anchor yourself, Jannecke, in the deeper truth.
That is absolutely beautiful. I had chills when you were telling this story. I think you found this beautiful alignment with the absolute truth, who we are, why we're here, that this is such a small drop in the ocean of all that we are. And we can't even conceptualize with our human logic how big that is. Like you said, we don't have words for it, but it is this absolute unlimited nature and unlimited love. I adore that you really wanted to walk up to people and tell them, do you know how amazing you are? Like, wait a minute.
And then you become that lady,
Exactly. The person on the street walking around. Yeah. I sometimes am that lady. So
yeah, I mean, you want to share, but what's interesting is that it feels like everybody gets it in their way. Like if we're open to it, I think anybody could have mystical experiences, because we're just tapping into the nature of who we are, but we get it in different ways. And that's what I find so interesting. Everybody I'm interviewing on my show, they have different stories, but it's sort of pointing to the same, that we're love, we're so much more, where we have the power inside, go inside, and we are never alone, but we get it in different ways. So spirit is speaking to us individually in our own language. And it always surprises me how spirit speaks to us and in what way. It's like, oh, I never thought that spirit could speak in that way. That's an interesting angle, and that's a fascinating way. I mean, it could be speaking through birds. It could be like anything. It's just this universe is so, it has humor and it's so magnificent.
yes, humor, delight, joy, celebration, all those beautiful emotions. And one, like, as we start to wrap up our beautiful conversation, and I really could talk to you for about a week straight, honestly. But one thing that I was curious about, as you have done so many years of conversations and asking questions and allowing people to tell and share their stories, do you feel that you have received or have an awareness of more of the answers, or is it getting bigger where there's more curiosity because there are more pieces coming in that it almost goes like, oh, okay, and then now what? Now that I have this piece, that opens this other door.
Oh yeah, definitely the last one. So to be honest, I mean, I'm not getting more and more clear picture of this, what we're in and what we're doing. It only gets bigger. I only get more questions and I only get more like, what? Oh, because it constantly, what do you say, open your mind to more and more. I thought I knew something, and then the next day I don't know. Of course, there are some red threads, I call them, like I feel it's all about love. I feel we're never alone. I feel we will go on. We have a soul plan, all these things. I think pretty much all of my guests are saying. There's some of course, exceptions to the rule, but most of them are saying that and have an experience of that or have experienced that. But it seems like now we're in this big shift of consciousness and more people are waking up. We are also seeing more perspectives of this universe that I've never heard of before, especially multidimensionality, just more knowledge about this universe that is coming across through experiences people have, or dreams, or out-of-body experiences, or contact or channeling in all kinds of ways. So it seems like obviously we're ready as humans to learn more about this universe. And I think this universe can't be understood really by our human mind. So my quest is sort of lost already because it's not possible to get the full picture. Even that's why I started with it. I wanted to know, like, put it in a box. Okay, that's why we're here. Okay, that's what this universe and that's what this life is about. No, we cannot know.
I think that's great. We're not going to get to the last chapter in the book.
No.
It's just going to keep going.
It's just going to keep going.
Yeah. I love that so much. And for anyone who is on their journey, feeling into that, because I think sometimes we have the understanding that I will take this class, or I'll watch this interview, or I'll study with this teacher, and then I'll have it. Then I'll have it all solved. The code will be cracked, and then I'll have it.
Yeah.
Just to know that there's always a next level. You're always learning something else.
Always. Yeah. And it's the same. Like I thought, and it's so silly. I knew that it was not going to be like that. But a part of me was like, when I get a boyfriend, then when I would get married, then. And I know that after that, something else shows up that I'm dealing with or growing, because from the universe is expanding constantly. The only constant is change. So everything will grow always and develop always. So that is the journey we're on. I think that's the only constant, that everything is constantly moving. And I think it's one of the universal laws also. So I think embracing change and development and growth is the best thing you could do.
Yeah. Yes. I'm seeing the image now. I'd like to tie it back to your acting start. It's about learning the script, knowing your lines, but also being able to improvise.
Yeah.
You have to have both of those in order to be on the stage that is life and do it well.
Yeah.
Which you absolutely do. You are on this beautiful, bright stage, shining so intensely for all of us. And I can't thank you enough for all that you do to hold the space, be the container, share your beautiful curiosity. And the way in which you honor everyone that you speak to is absolutely beautiful. So thank you for spending some time with us today and letting us see kind of behind the scenes of Jannecke in a way that we don't often get to see. And just for doing all the work that you do. How can anyone get in touch with you, join your beautiful community? Of course, I'll put all the links in the description box below. But for anyone who's just listening and maybe not able to get online to find that, where can they check out what you have to offer in the world?
Oh, thank you for that opportunity. And thank you for all the beautiful words. My, oh my. Yeah. we do many things. We offer a membership, for instance, where you, Heather, are one of our teachers. So it's sort of like a spiritual Netflix, I like to call it, because our members receive all these different master classes that are truly unique. You can't find them anywhere else. So it's really for those who want to spiritually grow and develop and have a safe community to do so. And you can sign up and stay as long as you want, like a few months or longer, and go in there and see if you find anything that you are inspired by. And we have all these classes within spirituality and personal development, how to love yourself, how to find your life purpose, how to connect with your guides, how to use a pendulum, how to do tarot cards. Like there's so many great classes where you're being taught skills on actually how to navigate this shift of consciousness that we find ourselves in. Because I do believe we need to raise our vibration and have these skills. Otherwise, it will be much harder. So it's really a fast path to cultivate all these innate skills that we already have, and to have beautiful teachers who are helping you along the way in a very affordable way as well. It's very affordable. And of course, I have free stuff as well that you can check out on my website, wisdomfromnorth.com. And my membership is wisdomfromnorth.com/membership. And then we have the YouTube channel, of course, Wisdom from North, both on YouTube and on podcast. But basically, if you go into wisdomfromnorth.com, you'll find everything. Yeah.
Yes. And it is a beautiful membership community. The time that I spent there connecting with everyone was just lovely. So you have a beautiful container of space there as well, in addition to what you offer through your YouTube channel. So
Thank you.
Thank you again, my friend. This has been an absolute joy. You have no idea. I'm standing taller. I feel lighter. I feel inspired. And I know anyone listening is going to feel into all those beautiful messages of love and empowerment and courage that you shared. So thank you again for being you and for being here today. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for watching.